let's say you are nose high, like such, and basically your stall recovery, let's say your pitch attitude is about 12.5. So when you look at your attitude indicator, you're up here at roughly 12.5 degrees. And you will be level flight, and so you're not really stalling. Now this is a really crucial thing. What we're doing here is approach to stall. We're not fully stalling.
Right.
So approach to stall means that we're gonna recover at the first indication of a stall. Now in normal law, that would be the disconnection of the autopilot, because when the autopilot disconnects, that's the signaling of alpha prop activating. Okay, so, which stands for alpha protection. Okay, so alpha prop, when it activates, you verbalize stall aft control flaps 1, and you begin lowering the nose down. Now, to where are you lowering the nose? This is what we're going to get into. So I just want to be clear on something. Pitch attitude is 12.5 PA. My flight path angle, or my flight path vector, is sitting here on the horizon. Why? Because the flight path angle, FPA, does not show me where the airplane's pointed. It shows me where the airplane's going. Okay, so I'm going to say that again, just so that's super clear. Pitch attitude is where I'm pointed. That's this symbol right here with the square. I'm at 12.5, positive 12.5. But I'm actually tracking level with the horizon.
Right.
So the bird, as we affectionately call it, is on 0 because the horizon is 0. Now, if you fully stall, the bird would go down here, meaning the bird would go below the horizon, because as you know, when you're stalled, you're actually doing this.
Yeah.
So the way to recover from the stall then is to effectively take the nose, or the pitch attitude, and reduce it to where, and point the nose where I'm actually going. Simply put, I'm going to take the nose and point it where I'm actually going. Now, you're a CFI, so think about from, what do you instruct, the 172? 152?
Yeah, 172.
Okay, they're all, it doesn't really matter. An airfoil is an airfoil, so you could be instructing in this airplane. Here's my wing on any airplane, right? If I'm pointed this way, that's the horizon, and the wing is falling that way. What I need to do is take this wing and lower it down so that the wing is pointed in the direction that it's actually going in space. So it's pointed this way, but it's going this way. So what I'm going to do is point it in the way that it's going.
Okay.
Does that make sense? That's why most of the stall recoveries, when you're with your students, what do you tell them to do? Push down.
Right.
Right? So what you're really saying is unload. That's the technical term.
Right.
So you're effectively saying, hey, unload the wing. Now, to answer your question in terms of how do we simplify this, all I'm going to do is simply unload the wing, meaning I'm going to lower down to the bird. So what it's going to look like visually is I'm going to take the square of the pitch attitude and I'm going to bring it down to the bird, and I'm going to sit it right here. Now, the truth is, because this would very much be appropriate if you're fully stalled, but because we're not fully stalled, we're doing approach to stall, you could take it to here. It might be slightly excessive in terms of like altitude loss.
Right.
But because we're doing approach to stall and you're still relatively close to a safe flying airspeed, which we'll get to more in a second, you could actually really pretty much just, you're going to figure out, go to the horizon, and the bird will be close by, but you're going to be back to a safe flying speed relatively quick. But anyway, in a stall recovery, go to the bird. That's the universal answer, which is to unload down to here. Now, how long do I have to go down here for? Well, basically until I get back to a safe flying speed. What does that mean? Well, it depends where my flaps are. So if my flaps are 0, I'm going to maintain this pitch attitude until I'm back at green dot, which is roughly 210, varies with weight, but 210 roughly, right? If I'm flaps 1, S speed, flaps 2, F speed, flaps 3, F speed. I'll expand more on this in a second, but basically, if I have the flaps out, I'm going to lower the nose until I get to the airspeed that would correspond with the flap setting, and then I can bring the nose up, right? So if this is planet Earth, and this is you flying, when we stall, I'm going to lower the nose, unload, all right? And I'm going to keep that until my airspeed hits the appropriate value. So if my flaps are 1, that would be S speed for slats. If my flaps are 0, I'm going to keep it to a green dot. When I hit green dot, then I'm going to bring the nose back up, and I'll regain level flight here at green dot.
Okay.
All right. We're going to be below 20,000 feet, so you can say flaps 1, part of the memory item, stall half control, nose down, pitch control apply, bank wings, elbow adjust, recover safe flying path, add thrust as appropriate, and flaps 1. The engines are mounted under the wing. This is another thing. The engines are down here. Because their engines are under the wing, thrust application results in a considerable nose-up tendency. So we don't want to drive the nose back up aggressively, which means you can use power, but we don't. When you, and this is a big, shift. When you instruct your students, how do you tell them to recover from a stall? This is not a trick question.
Always lower the angle of attack and full power.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So stay there. Let's stay there for a second. Lower the angle of attack and full power.
Yep.
Right? Perfect. Okay. So let's watch that in all practical application. So there you are. Stalling.
Yep.
Lower the nose, full power. Okay. Now, when I lower the nose, the purpose of lowering the nose is to unload.
Right.
And effectively get out of the stall. So step 1 is lower the nose.
Yep.
That's step 1, which is basically unload. And then you're saying step 2 is full power. So now let's talk about the power for a second. Let's say this was a glider, and you are not in a 172, and you're not in an A320. You're in a glider.
Mm-hmm.
So now which steps apply?
Still unload.
All right.
And you don't have power.
You don't have power. So here's the point I'm driving home. Do I need power to recover from a stall? No. Not at all.
Not at all. Yep. Because you're going to break the stall as soon as you...
As soon as you lower the nose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now, so why are we adding power? Here's the answer to that. So let's say this is 5,000 feet.